Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. All right, so this is the first time I'm doing this, and I thought I just kind of it's a little bit longer than the real videos, the reels. So I thought that I would come on here to share something that was really powerful, really, really impactful from this morning. So the last couple days, there's just been so much going on, so many different people going through so much, and just talking to different people about what they're going through, looking through social media, what people I care about are going through. And I woke up this morning with so much sadness, just like this heavy weight. And I felt this before. This has happened before. And in the past, I always told people about how empathetic I am. And so I really take on the feelings of those who are around me. But that's fine, and that I know that, so I know how to manage that and how to deal with it, but this morning, it just felt like there was no way of getting under sort of this dark cloud, if you would, and, just came upstairs after doing my morning studies, sitting with my husband, and just out of nowhere start crying, just feeling so sad and feeling so alone, and so what I told him, like, what I said out loud, kind of getting it out, was just how I felt so alone. I didn't feel like anybody was looking for me or there was any need for me. Nobody wants what I have or nobody wants to be with me. And just like kind of just letting this all pour out of my mouth without giving it much thought. And he's just kind of like surprised. Where's this coming from? What are you talking about? So now I'm just going to rewind a little bit. This morning in study, every morning, Monday to Friday, our study group reads. So we have different books that we kind of start off our study with so that we all get kind of our heads straight, our intentions straight. So we start with a little read, about 10, 15 minutes, and then we go into our studies. And so right now we're reading Big Magic. This was my recommendation. I love this book by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And so I just want to read you something that stood out to me this morning that she shared. She has such a beautiful way of describing different emotions or different ways of, I don't know, she just gets her points across in the most beautiful way. So this is what I'm going to share with you. So what she was referencing is she's talking about artists, and she says it's kind of like I'm totally just kind of saying my version of what she said, but she was saying that when we started calling artists or creatives geniuses, it's like we're kind of killing the creative craft because when you do that, it puts all the weight and the pressure on the artists or on the individual creatives, and then it kind of smothers them. And she gives examples of people who have extreme success, and then almost from there, you never hear from them again because in their own minds, they're like in competition with themselves, like, once that miracle happens, what are the chances of it happening again? Why even try? All these things that really it makes it so much about yourself and it takes away the pure joy of why you did it in the first place. Okay, and then she goes into another description of this, and she says here, I only rarely experience this feeling. This is talk about being guided for people who have like real gifts. So whenever you're in your zone of genius and you're sharing your gift and it just feels like you're in the flow or things are going well. This is what she's describing. I only rarely experience this feeling, but it's the most magnificent sensation imaginable when it arrives. I don't think there's a more perfect happiness to be found in life than this state, except perhaps falling in love. In ancient Greek, the word for the highest degree of human happiness is eudaimonia, which means well demoned. That is, nicely taken care of by some external divine creative spirit guide. Modern commenters, perhaps uncomfortable with this sense of divine mystery, simply call it flow or being in the zone. But the Greeks and the Romans both believed in the idea of an external demon of creativity, a sort of house elf, if you will, who lived within the walls of your home and who sometimes aided you in your labors. The Romans had a specific term for that helpful house elf. House elf. They called it your genius, your guardian deity, your the conduit of your inspiration. Which is to say, the Romans didn't believe that an exceptionally gifted person was a genius. They believed that an exceptionally gifted person has a genius or had a genius. It's subtle but important distinction from being versus having. And I think it's a wise psychological construct. The idea of an external genius helps to keep the artist's ego in check, distancing him from whatever the burden of taking either full credit or full blame for the outcome of his work. If your work is successful, in other words, you are obliged to thank your external genius for the help, thus holding back from total narcissism. Okay, so she has a beautiful way of writing. My reading of that is not even getting it across. But what I loved about this, when she's talking about this elf or this genius that's outside of you to take the pressure off of artists, I was thinking about all humans. And it's that we think I'm sad, but no, I have sadness. I'm having a moment of sadness. It's such a subtle difference, but it's not who you are, it's what you have. And when the other thing that I took away from this is that when you feel like you're responsible for somebody else's worries or for worries that are going on around you, if you're like myself and you hear a tragic story, or even like those quick TikToks where it's about sadness and you feel it at your core, you are taking that on yourself. So this morning, as I am crying and I'm trying to get my bearings from all of the sad things I've been hearing about and all of the negativity that I've been taking in, I had a call with my parents, which is great. They're currently down south. And when I'm talking to them, I said, I need people who I love and trust to talk to. Can I please share something with you so I don't feel so alone? So I shared with them what I was feeling and how I was having this sense of deep sadness. That was just announced yesterday or the other day that there was a celebrity who took their life. Twitch. I'm not sure of his actual name. I have to check that. I just know him as Twitch, as Ellen's DJ from his show. And then there's also a friend of mine who lost her mother, talking to her around this time of year. And then just hearing about other stuff happening in the news, which is just heartbreaking. And when I'm telling them all of these things that I'm thinking about, worrying about, like feeling for these people, I just don't want them to have that pain. They said the most beautiful thing. My parents were like Seinfeld. They're both on the phone with me at the same time. And what they said to me was that I'm taking on the worries of the world that are not my responsibility. And this is where faith is so important. Having a foundation in faith is so critical because you're not ever carrying the weight of the world. Like Elizabeth Gilbert referred to genius or this elf that lives outside of you, I believe, and whether you want to call it God or the universe or whatever higher power you believe in, that is sort of the thing that is external to you. It's not really, it's part of you, just like the genius is outside of you, but it's in you. Um, it is a power that's there for you, for that relief, for that comfort. And so, as soon as my parents said that, I was reminded, when was the last time I prayed? And then, when I say a prayer, asking for guidance, asking for help, asking for peace, it's almost immediate that I feel that relief. Because the truth is, we are never alone. It is never all up to you. And when you are under that weight of that sorrow, that sadness, that anger, whatever emotion is ruling you at that moment, you have to step back and acknowledge that that is sort of an ego driven feeling, and that we need to step back and realize this isn't mine to process. This isn't mine to solve. I am going to hand this off to a higher power that is going to protect me and love me and care for me. And so, in saying a prayer, I can put that good energy out there and have it serve me, as well as all of the other people that I'm thinking about, that I want to solve for, that I want to take the worry off of them. That's not my job. That's not my job. So, all I can do is keep showing up in my magic and passing off all of that excess to, not to the genius, to the little elf, to God, to a higher power. All right. And if you haven't tried this before, I get an eye roll, or before I get some sort of jokes or jabs about it, just try it. Try and tap in to that higher power that you have access to at all times, and let it handle the hard. Let it handle the heavy. Let it keep you feeling safe and like you're never alone, because you're not. You are never alone. Energy is everything. We are all one. We are all connected, whether you acknowledge it or not. We are all connected in one. So I really needed that this morning. And I thought I want to share that with other people. And the last thing I'm going to share, because this is going a little longer, that's why I'm doing a video. That feeling that I was having in the morning that I was telling my husband that I felt like nobody was wanting me right now. Nobody was needing me. Nobody was reaching out to me. It was always me reaching out to other people, trying to connect or meet up or talk or collaborate. It felt like in my morning of ego time telling my husband this. And he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then I stepped away and I went and got an extra workout in because that always helps me get centered. It helps me even out how I'm feeling. Immediate truths hit me like just like waves just splashing against my face. What are you talking about? I was thinking about my grandma always saying, I know you're so busy. I know you're so busy because she wants me. She wants time with me. She wants to talk to me on the phone. She's reaching for me. She's seeking me out. She wants me. Then I was thinking about my parents calling me in the morning, calling my kids just to tell them to have a great day. They want me. They love me. They're seeking me out. I'm naming people who are obvious, who like this morning I'm thinking of her talking to. But even my kids, oh, mama, do you think tonight we could do a board game? Oh, mama, do you think we could go sledding tonight? They want me. They are seeking me out. So it can be heavy, and I get that. And I know that times can be a little bit out of our control. And what I'm going to also tell you is I did from my own experience, get professional help. Get professional help. There are times where it is going to be beyond you just trying to mind over matter. If you get the proper help and support that can guide you into what the necessary steps might be for you to regain your footing. And it is worth every inch of energy that it takes to do that because they can help change your life. But if this is something that comes and goes and you can tell that it's a lot of thought driven feelings, that you're the one kind of manifesting that negative feeling, check in, take yourself out of it. All right. Separate yourself and your genius, separate yourself and your God or your higher power and hand it off. Try handing it off. Just even in your mind, just imagine these heavy feelings. Okay, here, I can't handle them right now. So this is me. Hey, God, I can't handle this right now. I'm clearly not managing these feelings well. I realize this isn't my responsibility. Please bring me a sense of peace and calm. Please take these burdens off of me. And it's like you're just handing over those feelings so that you don't have to feel them anymore. There are people reaching out. There are people seeking me, wanting to be in my life, and it only took less than an hour for me to snap back. Thank God. Um, but the final thing, the final realization that I'm going to share with you that I had, and I'm only sharing this because I don't know what you're going through. I don't know your experience, and I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm hoping that my story and my experience will help you or help whoever needed to hear this. The final thing I was thinking is, who am I reaching out to? Who have I been seeking? Who have I wanted to spend time with? Sometimes we gotta look in a mirror. We want all of this from other people, but what are we doing? What are we doing? How often am I genuinely reaching out to different friends to hang out, just to hang out? If that's what I want, why am I not seeking it? Right? Sitting back and waiting, that's not going to get you closer to what you want. All right. Wanted to get this off my heart and out there to you. I hope that this helps you. I hope this brings you a sense of peace. I hope you'll try it out. Hand that off. Hand off that pressure, that weight, that heaviness. Hand it off and get back to doing things that make you feel so good, so lifted, so inspired, so light. All right. That's our goal. That's our purpose in life. Just keep going back to the light. Keep going back to the things that make us feel good so that we can be that energy for other people. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. Bye.